Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis here. Sunday night, April 24th, 10:31 p.m. So, getting late here. Obviously, need to do this now. Sort of usually like to wait till Monday to do these podcasts, but tomorrow I work. I got some things I need to do after I get home from work in the afternoon. So, now was the best time. Got some time here to break down the week in Astros baseball. A few things before I actually get to the Astros here. Last podcast, more staticky sound in the background. I need to just go out. I think it's the microphone, so I need to go out and just buy a new one because at this point I just think it's the microphone. So again, I have no idea if you're going to hear it today, if you're going to hear it in the future. Once again, I'll continue to apologize in advance for all of that. Luckily, I mean, I've done podcasts way back where the staticky sound's gone on for minutes. Like the last few times I've done this, at least it sort of tapers off after about 5 to 10 seconds. So I guess it's better than the way things used to be. Obviously, I just need to go out and bite the bullet and buy completely. I'm still using an old microphone. I had gotten a new one that worked, that was supposed to be perfectly, I mean, it was a big microphone, supposed to be perfect sound quality, and that broke before I even had a chance to use it. So, but yeah, I'll just apologize if you hear that today. Obviously, the last few podcasts haven't been my best because of that issue. So I need to go out. Yeah, just buy a new one. But the Astros obviously not a good week, 2-4. They did win today, so I'm not completely. Things could have been worse than their homestand at 2-4. Obviously losing 2 of 3, winning the opener, losing games 2 and 3 to the Angels, and then salvaging the third game of the series against the Rays. So they did lose 4 in a row in between there. Offense still a big issue. I know they scored 8 runs today. Scored 8 runs on the home opener, but in between it was really bad offensively. Altuve got hurt on opening day. This is the home opener, by the way, so Altuve's been placed in the IL. I don't think it's not as serious as it seemed, especially the way it looked. Altuve should be ready by, I think, Fridays when he comes off the IL. They're not going to rush this, though, so we might just expect to see him maybe at the start of next week. So not tomorrow, but the following Monday is probably a good time you might see Altuve, if not before that. Presley, we talked about him being on the IL. I think he's due to come off Tuesday. They wanted to let him pitch like a simulated game, bullpen session. I don't know what the extent there. His also isn't too serious. It was like right knee inflammation. Altuve's is a hamstring strain, so I also don't know what they plan to do, if they plan on a rehab assignment, a short stint. So I really don't know what to expect. But Presley, I think, is off the IL by Tuesday. Altuve by Friday, and then we'll see after that. So, but those are the two big injuries. The call-ups for those injuries. Two tough names to pronounce. I said that, and we'll bring that up because both of them, I think, hit here. One pitched. One's a reliever. One's a infielder. So I'll get to their names later because they both did make appearances throughout the week here. But yeah, we won opening night. We had talked about the offense struggling, obviously. You take away that 13-run game. Just looking at the schedule here, I mean, you scored 3 runs, no runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 4 runs, 2 runs, 8-run opening day, then it went to 2 runs and no runs. So that's not going to get it done. I believe I was doing the math yesterday, so before today's game, they were averaging a little more than 2 runs a game if you took out the home opener and that Friday game where they broke out for 13. So that's not going to win you a lot of ball games. It's that plain and simple. And the second, third time around the rotation, our pitchers weren't pitching as well. Like Framber Valdez is a problem right now, no doubt about it. Jake Odorizzi is a problem right now, no doubt about it. So those are two guys I have drawn the line with. I feel like I've made a lot of excuses for Odorizzi last year and early this year, but I'm done doing that. Odorizzi has not pitched well. It's that plain and simple. He needs to figure out a way. I mean, the last start, he couldn't even get out of the first inning, and that was bad, real bad. But we do win on opening day. I'm not going to go game by game here. I'm trying to keep these more short and sweet. First few podcasts went a little long. Try to keep things 10, 15 minutes here, so I'll move things along. Alvarez was the big story there. He hit 2 home runs. Obviously, he missed the entire week prior to that because he was sick or dealing with something. There was a flu going around the team. He caught that. I don't know if he missed the entire week. Coming back Monday was good. Hit 2 home runs. Big story there. Garcia was good for the most part. Our relievers came in and kept him at, what was it, 3 runs? 3 runs? Yeah. We were good there. Don't want to go too deep into this game, but offensively, Alvarez was the story. Garcia 5 2/3, 3 earned runs. Maton worked a scoreless, gave up 2 hits, got 4 outs, walked a guy. Not great, but no runs. Montero was good. He struck out the side his 1 inning. Neris had 2 strikeouts, so everything, and that's the best you got in the bullpen right now when it goes Maton, Montero, Neris. With no Presley, it's your 3 best guys. No doubt about it. Losing Tuesday, this was a Framber start. Framber was not good, walked 4 guys, so he goes from walking 5 in Arizona to walking 4 here. 6 earned runs. ERA ballooned to 4.50. Abreu came in, and Abreu does Abreu things, obviously. Struck out 3 guys, but also gave up 3 hits, earned run. Ronel Blanco will be off this team when the roster shrink here coming weeks. He gave up a hit, a walk, struck out 2. This is the new guy, the guy they brought up for Ryan Presley. Parker Mashinsky, left-hander. Right off the bat, I actually said if he pitches well, and by well I mean he doesn't give up runs, it's already better than what you'll get out of Blake Taylor, so he should actually stay on the team. He gave up a hit, a walk, struck out 2, and then Baez came in. Actually had a clean inning, as I see here, but it's, But yeah, Parker Mashinsky is the guy that was brought up, and he gave up a run today in his inning of work, so there's that. But again, when Presley's healthy, which should be by Tuesday, Wednesday, he'll be back in the minor leagues. So, but we didn't do well that game. Lost at 7-2, and the 5-run fifth really is but Framber just can't consistently keep the ball in the zone. This was an interesting start. Framber usually struggles with the walks. This time he was he walked 4 guys, so it wasn't good, but he was giving up a lot of singles. A lot of well-placed ground ball, well-placed fly ball singles for the Angels. They didn't really have a bunch of extra base hits. It was just sort of pass the baton, keep the line moving, station to station type of baseball for them. But, yeah, that wasn't a good offensive output. And then the Wednesday was the Jake Odorizzi, who walked like 3 guys, couldn't get out of the first. And then it was sort of Ohtani shut them down, we were no hit through 5 innings. Had 1 hit. It was a Jason Castro single. But, yeah, Odorizzi's the big story there. Getting 2 outs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 hits, 6 runs, 3 of them earned. Blake Taylor comes in, and his ERA, magically, is at 0. He gave up, I think, 2 of the inherited runners. The bases were loaded. He gave up a double to Ohtani off the left field wall. But he gets 4 outs. Javier actually gets 3 2/3. Solid innings. Did give up 3 hits. Walked a guy, struck out 4. No runs came across. Maitan was good, getting 4 outs. Montero a clean 1-2-3 inning, and Stanek as well. Sort of your pitching line, but the Astros had 1 hit. You're not going to win games when you have 1 hit, and that just goes back. Yeah, look at pitchers giving up runs, things like that, but I still if I'm pointing the finger here, it first and foremost goes on the offense. Because they just can't hit. They just can't do it. So that's where I place most of the blame. Losing 2 of 3. Off day Thursday. First 2 games against Toronto were frustrating games. Tie games late in both these, and our bullpen gives up runs. Friday, they have a 3-run third. This is a Verlander start, by the way. You were feeling good about that. But the 3 runs we scored, Alex Bregman had an RBI single. Gurriel sort of got lucky. I think the bases were loaded. He found a hole in the defense. It was shifted to the left side. He had a ground ball that probably would have been a double play if your defensive alignment, infield-wise, was at their usual spots, because he hit it right to where the second baseman would be, but it went into right field because nobody was there. Scored 3 runs there. Like I said, RBI single by Alex Bregman, 2-run single by Gurriel. Then from that point forward, the offense was dead, innings 4 through 9. Verlander, there's one issue with him, Verlander. One issue. Solo home runs. He gives up a lot. He has trouble keeping the ball in the ballpark. That came back to beat him. One of those home runs was a first-row Crawford box shot, so Bradley Zimmer, I believe, hit that, but Santiago Espinal got him to left center over the yellow line of the archways. He gave it back-to-back home runs after giving up a run in the prior inning. See how that run scored. But the 2 home runs, the 2 solo shots, yeah, that's Verlander's big issue. Gurriel, I guess Lourdes Gurriel, an RBI ground out. So, yeah, Verlander wasn't terrible. He did go 6 innings. It was a quality start, but also wasn't great. And then they scored a late run off Hector Neris. I believe it was a Matt Chapman RBI double with 2 outs that scored a Guerrero from first. And then their closer, Romano, shut them. So, hold on. Got to talk about this. Astros had a chance. 9th inning. They had first and third, 1 out. And I don't disagree with Dusty Baker's decision-making, because you had 8-9 in the lineup due up. He wanted Castro pinch hitting for Chas McCormick. I've made my feelings about McCormick felt. Not a huge McCormick guy. But in this particular circumstance, you had McCormick and you had Maldonado due up. Your bench, obviously it's thin because Altuve's hurt. So you're playing Diaz a lot. Diaz would be a pinch hitter in most cases in that situation. But all you had was Castro and then the guy they brought up for Altuve. Let me find this guy's name here for you. Let's see. I'm probably going to say this name wrong. J.J. Maticevic. I think that's how you say that. J.J. Maticevic. Or Maticevic. First Major League at bat, put into a tough situation. Castro strikes out, by the way. So first and third, fly ball ties the game. Well-placed fly ball, that is. But he strikes out, so Maticevic comes in. 2 outs, runners in the corners, down a run, 2 outs, 9th inning. And he strikes out. So I don't disagree. Like, you're not going to – if you hit Maldonado in that spot, it's just a mistake. I mean, even though this guy's never had a Major League at bat, I still would take my chances with him. I'd take my chances with anybody over Martin Maldonado with 2 outs in the 9th inning, down a run with a runner on third base. He struck out. Dusty said he wanted lefties, which Castro and Maticevic were. Apparently he had some number, hate playing numbers, that lefties hit the closer Romano better, which I guess that's debatable because somebody dug into the stats and numbers said the averages against lefties were actually worse against Romano than the righties were. Like the righties had a higher batting average, so I don't know what number Dusty was looking at. But again, I don't disagree with the decision making there. I'm okay with that. But we had a chance, and it just goes back to the inept of the offense to score runs, especially when they're presented. When you have opportunities and they don't come through, that's also been another issue. 2 games they've been shut out, against the Angels first week, and then, the shutout against the Angels again this previous week. Like, they didn't even threaten. But in some games where they've scored 1-2-3 runs, they've had opportunities. They just don't capitalize. Even today. But they lose that. And then Saturday, it was the same type of game. They lose by a run. Blake Taylor, late in the game, does what he does, gives up a run. And we lose that one 3-2. We were up 2-1. Bregman hit a 2-run home run. But, yeah. Urquidy was decent. I mean, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs. Not terrible. His ERA is at 5.52 because of that Seattle start the previous week where he gave up 5 runs in that 1 inning. Maton came in, was good. Taylor gave up the 1 run. Oh, God, I can't stand Blake Taylor. And magically, his ERA is at 1.93. Crazy. Stanek came in. Stanek's been good his last few outings. ERA is down to 2.08. I think he also pitched today. Went down more. And then Neris bounced back, gave up a hit, but clean inning for him. But Friday and Saturday, the same feel. Winnable games, just couldn't get that big hit. Late in the bullpen, failed a little bit there. Today, had to lead again. We were up 5-2 at one point, and then Garcia was good until he gave up that. It was a 3-0. I mean, so I'm at work, working on a podcast. I turned the volume onto the TV just for this one at bat, and sure enough, that one pitch, he gave up a 3-run home run, which tied the game. It just had the same feel as Friday and Saturday's game once again. But that tied the game at 5. They took the lead in the 7th, 6-5. We were able to tie the game in the 7th. It was a Diaz. They brought the infield in with a runner on third and 1 out, I believe. And Diaz was able to hit a little floater over the shortstop's head to score a run. That tied it at 6. Phil Maton and Hector Neris were unavailable. So after your starter, Garcia goes 6 innings, but gives up 5 runs, ERA 4.60. Parker Machinsky comes in, only gets an out, 2 hits, and earned a run, so wasn't good. Ronel Blanco, like I said there, he actually got 2 outs, was clean. Montero gave up 2 hits to start the inning, but he was able to get the outs when he needed. Got 2 strikeouts, got through the inning. ERA still big old goose egg for him. Brian Abreu, God, I can't stand this guy, but did okay. Got 5 outs, gave up the run in the 10th with your ghost runner at second. That's an unearned run if that runner does come around to score. But he also walked 2 guys, got 3 strikeouts, got through the 9th, which was big. We didn't score, obviously, and then, they took him out in the 10th, and then Blake Taylor got 1 out, ERA at 1.80 for Taylor, which is a miracle. He's just not good with inherited runners. But Abreu and Taylor get 2 guys I just really can't stand. Didn't implode, so to speak. Allowed us to, think, let's see. So Tucker, who's still, pretty dreadful at the plate. He had 3 hits on Saturday, broke out the batting gloves, and then kept the batting gloves on. First 2 at-bats for today's game, 0 for 2 outs. Goes back to no batting gloves. He's just trying something right now to get something going. It's just not really working. Not working at all. So he's one of the guys. I start constructing my list. Every year I have a list of players I can't stand. And maybe I'll get to this in a little bit. But again, I'm trying to shorten things here. Anyway, Tucker gets, we're down a run. Their closer, Romero, who I talked about for Saturday's game, or Friday's game, they had a chance to win, or at least tie. Romero, not a guy I'm very familiar with, I would say. Jordan Romano, that's how you say his name. But he converted 31 straight saves and had a chance there, but, Brantley had a 2-run home run in the fourth. Obviously, we relinquished that lead. But Jeremy Pena was the guy. Big home run with 1 out. You had your ghost runner at second, but just hit an absolute. Yeah, he drilled a pitch. Center field fastball. And off the batter's eye, walk it off, get the win, take it. Scored 8 runs. Not pretty, but they got the job done. So as I said to start this podcast, things were not as bad as they could have been. Astros are at 7-8 through 15 games, so not great. Not terrible, but again, not great. Talk about April as a month of just trying to get things together. Shortened spring training obviously makes things a little different. I feel like the start of the season, getting your pitchers ramped up. Hitters haven't gotten their usual plate appearances. I'm not trying to make excuses here, but if you use April as a month just to sort of get things together, get players into their sort of rhythm of the season, and if you can stick around 500, I would be okay with that. So, yeah, I'll just leave it there. We'll see if we get our injured players back. Obviously, Altuve, Presley. Hopefully, we get them back at some point this week. I'm hoping they don't have to go out on rehab assignments. But that's where we're at. 7-8, 2-4 week, not good. Not good homestand to start. They go back on the road to play the Rangers for 4 in Arlington. They're probably there now. I mean, game did end at like 5, so they probably got to Arlington within the last hour or two, and we'll play 4 there. And then they go to Toronto. So Toronto, the season against the Blue Jays will be over next time I speak to you. So, yeah, I'm okay with things. If the Astros lost today, I know it's early in the season, but today was an important game in all aspects. It would look bad to have Toronto come into your ballpark and take all 3, even though it's early in the season. But that would have been a bad look, because I think Toronto's a team we have a good chance of facing in the playoffs, if and when we get there. So, yeah. But I'll wrap things up there. I'll work on keeping these podcasts around 20 minutes going forward. But I can pat myself on the back because I'm at 23 minutes. And I think I covered about everything there is to cover. So, Bregman's looking a little bit better. Alvarez, he's fine. Yuli has been looking better. But again, I'm not going to be convinced this offense is back to normal unless I see a consistent day after day decent run output, because they've tricked us twice already, scoring 13 way back on Friday and 8 runs on opening day, and both those times they went right back into their rut after having those offensive outputs. Score 8 runs today. Tomorrow's an important game. We'll see what they can do. If the offense can keep it going, or if they fall right back into their rut, and either's a good chance. So, anyway, I'll wrap things up there. David Artis, hit that like button. Love to hear your comments below, obviously. Share this podcast with your friends. Let me know if I missed anything down below, obviously. I'd love to hear your comments. We'll respond to each and every one I can. If you take the time to type it, I will take the time to read it, and I will take the time to respond. But all that good stuff there is to do on YouTube. I'll talk to you next. Let's see here. Depending on my schedule, which I have not looked at yet, but it'll either be next Sunday night or Monday afternoonish. We'll see you then.